Chris Baker with Baker DMM. This is our video digest newsletter. The topic of today's newsletter is going to be, who does Baker DMM partner with to help seniors? And before we jump into our discussion, I want to read you a quote. Quote states, "My golden rule of networking is simple. Don't keep score." And that was said by Harvey McKay, who's a famous businessman, inspirational sales leader, success guru, pretty well known in the sales community and business development and networking community. And I thought that was kind of a nice quote to lead into what we're talking about. And really, that's the problem: is people in the community, whether it's someone trying to get help for a loved one, a family member, friend, neighbor, or even businesses trying to get help for their clients, particularly for people that are aging and within the senior ecosystem. A lot of times it's very difficult to find reliable and trustworthy help for either your loved one or your clients. And today I just want to take a moment and go through a list that I put together of quite a few different professionals that we've run across, our business and myself, and helping our clients. And just kind of going through that list and talking a little bit about the different professionals and maybe the different ways that we interacted with them to help our clients. And the purpose of that is to really be a solution to everyone out there that is in the community that might not know where to get the right help, or maybe they're concerned about getting a good referral. And we can step into those shoes and be a resource for you. And if we don't know the direct answer, maybe we can reach into our network and try to be that resource for you to help find the right people. And if anything, you could also use this information when you're out doing your due diligence and doing your own investigative work on who you want to work with. And you can maybe ask them some of these questions, or say, hey, have you worked with financial planners before? Have you ever worked with geriatric care managers before? And just start asking questions to get them talking. And then that ultimately will lead you to more comfort that you're hiring the correct people, you're hiring experienced people and companies and professionals to either help your loved one, or your family member. So I'm going to grab this list, and it's a pretty thorough list. It might not cover every single person or professional or company that we've worked with, but I think it's got quite a few. So we've worked with attorneys before, and that's particularly elder care attorneys. Usually in most cases where we've worked with those individuals, it's to execute a durable power of attorney, where that's someone that has been unable to manage their day-to-day finances on their own, and they need help and someone doing that for them. And a lot of times they might not have family or close friends available to jump in and provide that service for them. So we've done that for our clients in certain cases. Adult protection services, that's another group which just really been pleased with them, particularly we're in Atlanta, Georgia, in the Atlanta metro community. We've had to call them a number of times to report different types of cases of financial fraud and elder abuse being committed against our senior and even sometimes disabled clients. And they've just been really wonderful to work with, and they do a great job, and can't speak highly enough about them in our community, and I'm sure that goes the same across the country. And with the adult protective services, each county throughout the nation, they have their own adult protective services group. We've worked with churches before, particularly in community outreach efforts, educational efforts, where we go in and we'll present typically on financial fraud and elder abuse, and really what to look for, the warning signs, what are some of the symptoms, what kind of people does it affect, the different attributes of these individuals, and then also how can you protect yourself and really prevent it from happening. You see a lot of educational materials out there, but up until this point, just recently, there's really not a lot of information on how on preventing. I'm starting to see it more, with different companies. There's Silver Bills, EverSafe, our company, Baker DMM. There are a few different companies out there that are really starting to get the word out. But up until now, a lot of the educational material, the literature out there, it's really just about education and awareness. So it's good that there's some people and companies out there starting to really push more to the preventative side, because that's ultimately where we want to be, and that goes for anything, whether it's your financial health, your physical health, whatever it could be, you want to be preventative, and you want to try to stop things really before they even ever happen, or if they do happen, catch them early enough to where they don't go out of control and ruin someone's physical or financial life. I have on here the court system. Just recently, we worked with a guardian ad litem who was assigned to a case of one of our clients where we were the power of attorney, and they were going. It's a real long, complex legal case, but basically we've coordinated with them and given them advice and feedback on our client and what we've done to help them, and kind of really just what we think overall of the situation with that client and their family members. We've worked with other CPAs and accounting firms. I myself am a CPA, and I'm the founder of Baker DMM, but we actually don't provide tax services. So we work with other accounting firms and other CPAs with our clients when they need tax assistance. So we've worked with individuals like that, making sure they have the right information and they're getting information in a timely manner, and really just try to act as a liaison between our client and the services that they need from the tax provider. Guardians, we have a client in particular who have been assigned a guardian, for health matters. And so we've worked with them to make sure that, their financial, matters are getting taken care of, which really indirectly can affect someone's health. And so we stay in touch with the guardian to talk about the health issues. Is health getting worse or is it getting better? What's the latest news? Geriatric care managers, we've worked with a number of geriatric care managers in our community. And typically, usually geriatric care managers are kind of your go-to source for those people that need help, that might not have family or friends, or maybe it's just a really complex, case. They'll go in and try to be that point person for all the different types of services that disabled person or that senior will need. Maybe they need transportation, maybe they need home health, maybe they need coordination between their doctor's visits, maybe they need someone like Baker DMM to help them with their finances. So being in touch with those individuals and being able to connect all the different dots and work with them has been extremely important and valuable in what we do. Home healthcare businesses, these are people that provide either non-medical or medical services. We just, from one of our contacts here in Atlanta, we got a referral last summer from a person that was in need, a person that was aging and had some mental issues and substance abuse issues, and we were able to meet with them and start working with them to help kind of bring some order out of the chaos that become their personal finances. Insurance providers, we worked with John Hancock a few years ago, one of our first clients. They had a long-term care policy, and we had become power of attorney for that client. And ultimately, the bill never got paid, and we didn't know they had the bill, and one thing led to another, and then the policy lapsed. So we actually had to contact John Hancock and work with them and try to get the policy reinstated, because it was a husband-wife couple. The wife was already getting into her long-term care policy, utilizing that policy, but the husband had not started using his policy. And could have just been really, really, really devastating and bad news for them if they would have lost that, because they had spent so much money and so many years renewing the policy and having that resource available. And luckily, we were able to get them reinstated, and was really happy with John Hancock in that they were kind enough to do that. Nurses, again through home care, sometimes it's medical home care, coordinating with them. Sometimes even at the hospitals when we've gone in to visit clients in the hospital, they've got different nurses helping them, while they're staying in the hospital. So staying in touch with individuals like that, making sure that we're staying in the loop on what's the latest with our clients' health conditions. Professional organizers. We had a client a couple years ago who was a stroke victim, and they basically moved into a senior retirement community, and they were in the process of trying to wind down their house, their property, and they wanted to sell it. So we ended up working with a professional organizer to go through their house and sort things and try to get things in different kind of orders and piles of what's going to be sold, what's going to be donated, what's going to be thrown out. And those people can be extremely valuable, particularly, again, for those people that are aging, people with disabilities, if they don't have a lot of friends or family, or maybe they do, but they don't live near them, and they just don't have the ability on their own to go through their home and all their belongings to properly organize and sort and dispose of or sell or even put in storage their personal belongings. Retirement and senior care communities, these are other groups and communities that we've worked with. Mostly, a lot of the times, it's going to present and talk about financial fraud and elder abuse, and just making sure that people in the community are aware of what it is and who it affects. It doesn't discriminate. It doesn't discriminate. You could be, have a lot of money or have barely any money. You could be any color. You could be a man or woman. You could be, a Harvard PhD, or not even have a high school education. It doesn't matter. It affects everybody. Just like our bodies physically decline, our minds, our financial capacity can decrease as we age, and it could affect anybody. And because a lot of times when we present in these communities, people kind of roll their eyes and they laugh and they think, oh, that's not going to happen to me, or they just think it happens to stupid people or dumb people, but it doesn't, and it happens to everybody. It can happen to anybody and everybody. And just really trying to communicate to these people to be on the alert, on the lookout, whether it's for you, your loved one, your neighbors, whoever it is, because it can happen, and it happens every day, all the time, all over the world. So really working with those communities to try to get the word out, and knowing that, and letting them know that there are resources out there like a Baker DMM, to let them know that if they want to get help and retain their independence and just get a professional financial service to help them, like a CPA. A lot of people don't know that there's resources out there that can do that for them. A lot of times they think it's going to be too expensive, or they think it's only for the ultra high net worth, but really getting in there and letting these people know that, hey, there are services out there now that are affordable, that are competent, that are professional, that'll get the job done and help protect you and your finances. That's extremely valuable to get this word out to the communities. Senior care facilities, that kind of ties in with retirement and senior care communities. Senior care facilities might be more kind of along the lines on the spectrum of kind of a care spectrum of more like nursing homes, assisted living. And these are areas where people, they have a cognitive or physical impairment, and they need a lot more assistance on day-to-day activities, daily activities of daily living. On a spectrum, you could almost say on one end you have your independent retirement home, and then on the other end you basically have nursing homes, assisted living, which these people are going to need, if not assistance most of the time, almost sometimes even full-time assistance in just in living day to day. And let's see, what do we got? Last one we have is social workers, and again, working with social workers, people that are out in the community, whether it's through a government program or even a more of a private independent, therapy, care coordinating program. We work with social workers. We've actually gotten a few referrals. I remember a few years ago we had a referral from a social worker. I believe she worked at a hospital, and she was working with a woman this woman's husband had passed away. And this particular woman, not only did her husband just pass away, but she was recently at that time diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. And then on top of that, she had never managed the money of the household. So the social worker who knew us said, hey, look, you've got a lot going on and you're going to need some help. This company basically does the things that you're going to start doing. And if you need help, contact them. And she did. And that was in early 2015. And we actually met, and she had just had so much going on, and you could just know, I mean, she was the sweetest person in the world, but she just had a lot going on, between her husband passing away and her health, and kind of getting up to speed on all the things that she was now responsible for. She said, hey, look, I'm not ready for this. This is great, but I'm not ready yet. And, I said, that's fine. Just take your time. And when you're ready, just come back, and we'll stay in touch, and when you're ready, we'll help you. And sure enough, a year later, we touched base, and she said, hey, look, I'm ready now. I've moved on from certain things in my life, and now I'm really focused on, my health, and not only my physical health, but my financial health. And she knew that she wasn't managing her money the way that she should. And so we started working with her. And in this particular case, she probably early on in the relationship, she had mentioned to us that she was worried about her daughter stealing from her, and she wasn't monitoring her accounts like she should. And And sure enough, a few months went by, this woman had a stroke and was in the hospital, and we started seeing financial activity in her account, and it turned out it was her daughter, and was stealing money from her mom while she was in the hospital. And so we ended up reporting that to the APS, and then they did their thing and dealt with the daughter. So hopefully this was helpful, just kind of going through a rundown of some of the different professionals and organizations and communities that we've worked with. Again, we'd be happy to be a resource for you. If you ever have questions, you can contact us. Be happy to try to help you, pinpoint and figure out where you need help in your community. And if it were at minimum, when you're out doing your research and due diligence, you can use some of this information when you're vetting the professionals that you need to work with, and ask them, who do you work with? Who do you know? And that should bring you some comfort that you're dealing with competent, good professionals that are going to have the best interests of your friend, your neighbor, your loved one, at heart when they're serving them. So if you found this information interesting or helpful, please feel free to share it on your social media channels. It could be with your family, your friends, or really whoever you think might benefit from viewing the information. If you ever have a question you'd like for me to answer directly in one of our newsletters, you can go to our website, www.bakerdmm.com. Scroll at the bottom, fill out your information, write a few sentences, and I'll try to answer your question in one of our upcoming newsletters. And if you'd ever like to get our help personally and directly, go to our website, and at the top you'll find our phone number as well as a request an appointment button. And if you scroll at the bottom, if you'd like to book a paid consulting session, there's actually a PayPal button. You click on that, fill out your information, and just submit that form. And with any of these options, we'll be in touch with you in 24 to 48 hours to book and confirm our appointment. And until then, I will talk to you all soon.